Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Country Morning Creations, and I'm here with a flip through of my April journal. I do make a new journal for myself every month, and I find that an easier way to journal. Once we're done looking through this, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into how I've used my journals for the first 3 months of this year. So let's get into this journal. I have used the Tim Holtz Wallflower paper pack, and I've been using that this whole year. So it's this paper pack. I love it. I actually love it so much I have 2 of these, and I even have one of the ones in vellum. So I'm using this paper pack, and kind of my goal is to at least do the first 6 months using that paper pack. Now, one of the things I wanted to tell you is that one of the problems with this paper is you can see that the flowers are on the left side and the writing is on the right side, and so that doesn't work to just make a journal cover where you simply fold it in half. So one of the things I've had to do this time around with this journal is I actually cut the pieces apart and then glued a piece on the inside of the spine, and that actually created a little bit of a spine. Now this is just held together today by some seam binding, which I'm going to go ahead and take off. And you'll notice it has my April. This is from Nik the Booksmith. As a matter of fact, the 3 pieces that are on here are all from Nik. And this is the one, this one says April, and this was from one of her printables, so I'll post the link to that below. And then this was simply another piece of the, this is the cardstock, the back side of the cardstock. And I have been watching Yvonne Preston, and I love how she cuts things out with her scissors, and I actually have a pair of scissors very similar to that. So this month I've gone with more of this look, and I was trying to place it somewhere where I didn't block all these gorgeous roses. Then I added What If and one of the number things. These are all from Nik the Booksmith. And you'll notice that this is the back side of the inside of this. This is one of my tags that I made, and it's under my Easy and Elegant Tags video. And I did put a pocket out of some of the leftover of this, but you can see here that I glued a piece, so it was just about 1 inch wide, so about a ½ an inch hangs over on either side, and that is in the front as well as in the back. Now for this, I also used, this page is from the Nik the Booksmith planner, and I just printed, I was using up quite a bit of paper that I had lying around. So I had made a teacher planner with this, and I just had an extra piece of it, so I put it in here. And one of the things that I like to do, and you'll see this when I show you some of my other ones, I like to put my goals for the month or ideas or plans for the month on the first page. And so I will go back once we're in April and do that. I also am using up some coffee stain paper. This is prior to when I started actually using baking soda to help neutralize the acids. So this journal may not last quite as long. I went back and I added some lace this time and simply sewed that in. I have some Edith Holden in here. Here's her April page. And I have more sewing, more lace, and then of course I have to have my tracing paper that I've coffee dyed in here, and this was just a little bit of paper that I sewed into it as well. So lots of strings hanging out on this one. I have flips in here that I can tuck things into, and I'll show you some of the things that I do with those flips. So mostly a lot of coffee dyed paper in here, some lace. Here is that tracing paper again, another flip or tuck spot. And you can see that what I was doing with this paper, I was actually taking maybe 6 or 7 sheets of paper at a time and staining them. So some of the outside pages got stained all the way through, but as you can see here, it didn't go all the way through, so it has kind of this look. And that's that Edith Holden, and then another flip spot and another flip and some more lace and some more coffee dyed paper. So I've kept it very simple because I do plan to make a sticker page or a couple of sticker pages. I will have that video up probably Sunday or Monday of this week on how to make your own sticker pages. And I wanted to make a sticker page for this to use this month. But let's get into my January, February, and March notebooks, and I'll show you a little bit about what I mean. So this one, I wrote areas of focus for 2019, and yes, I am very ambitious. I would like to do 52 journals, but I just kind of had some goals for myself. Being January, I actually did not have this together yet, and my word for this year is intent. I want to do everything with an intent. So I had written all of that down and tucked that into this pocket here. And then this one again, I did some lace. So for example, this one is just talking about my goals, how I want to spend this year. This was a day, different things that, this is talking about some interviewing that I did. I was the interviewer, and this is talking about that. I was excited. Oh, I was taking a book binding class from Nik the Booksmith. And here's one of the interesting things. I write in the morning when I first get up. So I kind of process what I'm going to do. So like this one's titled Moving Slowly. And it says, this morning I'm moving slowly. It's already 9 a.m. and I'm still in my jammies. I'm okay with that. I only have 2 more days of Christmas break after today, and I want to relish these days. And I talked about different things I was going to do. This was a flip that I did, and this was talking about joy. So I really spend a lot of times just what makes me happy? What are things that I'm thankful for? This is talking about going back to school, lessons that I learned from making the book, that I need to rough up the board a bit before I apply the compound with a stencil. Oh yeah, this was when I was taking the embossed covered one. I also messed up the cover, putting in the signature block. So this was talking about all the frustrations I had, but it also talked about what I learned from it. And I have goals, let's see, learning and growing. I can do this. So sometimes I write just words of encouragement to myself. Those things are important. Inspiration, coffee and journaling. This is just talking about how I love curling up in my big Craftsman chair and looking outside while I journal and sip coffee. And I must have been really ambitious that day because this runs over 2 days. And then let's see, switching gears. So this is talking about changing gears. And then see down here at the bottom, I actually have a to-do list that I made. So I was going to make mini flowers. These are different videos I was going to make. How to use the Crocodile, how to use the Sizzix, how to use Canva for making digital kits. And so this is one of the ones that I'm getting ready to make this video finally. So some of these plans take me a while to go. This is reflection on one of my classes. Let's see. I did just a little, I want to make nice things, do what you love what you do. And I felt like this looks a lot like me. So I just did a little bit about this. This says, community, I have found my tribe. Although the pageant community was fairly supportive, I always felt a sense of competition. It was like, we'll be nice and support on the outside while we secretly hope you fail. After years of this, I was just done. Now I hang out online with amazing supportive people. Every time I post something, even if it isn't journal related, I have positive feedback. It feels so genuine. It's like the rising tide raises all ships, saying, we cheer for each other, admire each other's handiwork, and share our secrets. It's wonderful. So this is talking about the junk journal community in general. So I put pictures in it. Here's a page where I use the flip. You've got the plan. This is some of my to-do stuff. And it's a snow day, so this was a day where I had off from school, so I had to figure out what I was going to do. This is a picture of my grandson. So I had just gotten a little mini printer, and I have this Canon Ivy, and I can just print pictures from my my phone onto it, and that works really well. So this one says remember to play, and it was just a reminder. This is a picture of what our winter storms have looked like. And then February is a lot of the same. So this one I spent a little bit more time and I have a lot more stuff in it. But again, February, what I plan to do, wrote some encouraging things. Again, here's a flip, and this was talking about the weekend. My sister came for a visit, and I included a picture, but I did this whole piece, and this says sister, and that's the definition out of the dictionary. I had a fun day, clearly. This was a me day. More encouragement. It's not about having time, it's about making time. So I use stickers from a variety of different places. This one was talking about some big decisions I needed to make. So as you can see, I use this for kind of just generally planning where I'm going, but I also do things like this was a day that I spent with my youngest son. Yes, he'll be 20 in April, and we went to go see the Lego movie. So there's memory things. I think one of the wonderful things about journals is that we don't have to, it's not just a diary. A lot of what I write about is where I'm going, what I'd like to do. This was our Valentine's dinner with my handsome husband. We've been married almost 34 years. It'll be 34 years this summer. We took a climber for my grandson. So I've journaled in that. So these are just different things that I write in here. I write about the future. I use lots of stickers. This was this was a weekend where I actually got to spend time with two of our boys, and then debating things. So I also do a lot of how do I plan things out. This is the folio I keep things in. I made this way back in September. And you can see this has my current March one in it. Again, goals. I write those at the beginning. And then do different things. This was a lazy weekend. Changing my plans today. So here's the to-do lists. Oh, this was where I talked about I was invited to be on the Old Design Shop's design team, which is so awesome. And I'm so excited about that. So you can see that like today, here's to-do lists. These are my vacation time. This is talking about how well I was planning on doing this. This is actually just a card that I made, and what was really cool was I was able to take my printer with me when I went to visit my sister in California. And this is a picture of us at her wine tasting room, there, Le Moulin Rouge, which is the Red Mule. And so as you can see, there's no right or wrong way to use a journal, whatever works for you. And I have a couple of pages. We're not quite done with the month, but that is how I use my journals. And so I hope I've inspired you to think about different ways to use journals. For me, I have several very thick journals, ones that I've made myself and ones that I've been given. But this is what I can do. This is what I can deal with. I can't deal with how do I fill a big, thick journal, but I can do a month at a time. January, February, March. And now my April journal is all ready for me to start filling it up with plans, memories, to-do lists, things to do, things I want to remember, processing things, all of that stuff. This is just, I really want to encourage you to not think that a journal has to hold one type of thought or they have to be a certain way. Your journals are yours and they are for you to write in. And so I want to encourage you to just get your journals out and write in them. And if they're too big, make them smaller. Use a size that's going to work for you. Maybe you need a journal that is this size for an entire week. Or maybe a journal this size will last you a whole year. But if you're daunted by the really big, thick journals, make a smaller journal. These are so easy to make. So you just need to make a journal that's going to work for you, that will allow you to write in it. And that's what I wanted to say today. So I hope I've encouraged you to be creative. Bye.